Hello, everyone, and welcome to Literary Tales. I'm your host, Paul Krause, and in this episode, we explore Jane Austen's great work, Northanger Abbey. Catherine Morland is not that dissimilar of a character from Marianne Dashwood of Sense and Sensibility. Both girls are exceedingly young. Catherine is 17 at the novel's beginning, and Marianne 16. Both are romanticists, figures constructed, characters constructed in Jane Austen's imagination who exhibit and embody the romantic spirit of sentimental love, but of different stripes given who they are. Catherine's romanticism is fantastical and, to some degree, Gothic. She vicariously lives her romantic fantasy through reading Gothic novels. This, of course, differs from Marianne Dashwood, who is the romantic par excellence, seeking actual romanticism through the flesh. The world of fictitious Gothic literature is, for Catherine, the real world, while the actual world of flesh and blood souls is fictitious. Jane Austen here is also giving commentary upon the realities of the Gothic novel, which is proliferating and expanding in popularity in 19th century England, a genre of literature for many to whom it represented the real world. Jane Austen is cautioning us from embracing that idea. Reality, therefore, smacks Catherine in the face in the halls of Northanger Abbey. Social scheming is very much part of the actual world, the world that Jane Austen herself knew, and she doesn't abstain from reflecting on these realities through the characterization and maturation of Catherine's life. Her supposed friend, whom she does spend a lot of time with, side by side on the streets, Isabel, is only a friend because of her probing James Morland, Catherine's older brother, as a potential suitor for marriage. Isabel believes James is rich because of the realities of the supposed social standing of the Morland family. Isabel, then, is only seeking James because she intends to have a rich inheritance through the marriage. Isabel doesn't actually care about James, or, for that matter, Catherine. Catherine is but a vessel in Isabel's hunt. Their mutual love for Gothic novels is but the mechanism for Isabel's ingratiation and social scheming. Once Isabel learns that James's relative destitution is their reality, she abandons the Morlands. Catherine eventually makes her way to the Tilney residence at Northanger Abbey. She imagines a world like Anne Radcliffe's The Mysteries of Udolpho, the Gothic novel she is reading, and the Gothic novel to which she can vicariously live. In Northanger Abbey, Catherine begins to play out her Gothic fantasies. She blinds herself, as a result, to Henry Tilney's romantic heart. Catherine, imagining Gothic murder as the cause for the death of General Tilney's wife, causes a rift between her and Henry. Of course, anyone who reads Gothic novels and the Gothic genre knows that mysterious murder is a central foundation to the genre and to the theme. And here in Northanger Abbey, Catherine imagines that, not realizing that this fantastical imagination of hers blinds herself to the romantic love that Henry has for her. Henry upbraids her for her insensitive imagination. Catherine leaves crying, believing she has destroyed Henry's feelings for her. She realizes, a bit late, at least at this part of the story, that the fantastical imagination of Gothic romanticism is no substitute for the real romanticism of hearts and souls. Catherine and Henry may not have been lovers from the start, but they grow to love each other over the course of the novel. Of course, those who start off as friends side by side may eventually become face-to-face lovers, as C.S. Lewis notes. The side-to-face dynamic is breathtaking to behold in Northanger Abbey. Catherine and Henry go from strolling streets and halls at each other's side to deep and intimate conversations and flirting face-to-face, eyes and smiles being what they see as a reflection of their love. Even when Catherine flees to her room in tears for her insensitivity brought on by her fantastical imagination and living vicariously through the Gothic imagination, her feelings indicating in herself a transformed feeling for Henry, because she fears she has lost his love. That moment was a face-to-face encounter when Henry charges Catherine with insensitivity, and she sees in Henry the pain as well as the love that he has. Austen, in this moment, produces a tour de force of symbolism and signification that we, as readers, must understand. Henry tells Catherine, "Remember the country and the age in which we live. Remember that we are English, that we are Christians." Henry's rebuke declares a return to realism and a return to Christianity, two things that Catherine has departed from because of her frenzied, Gothicized imagination. Then Austen informs us of Catherine's disposition. The visions of romance were over. Catherine was awakened. Henry's address, short as it had been, had more thoroughly opened her eyes to the extravagance of her late fancies than all their several disappointments had done. Most grievously she was humbled. Most bitterly did she cry. Although we take pity and sympathy on Catherine, this moment represents her apotheosis, her metamorphosis, her transformation into realizing the real reality of love. If you listen closely, you will notice that her eyes are open. She realizes her errors. She is broken, humbled. She learns humility and cries into a new baptism as she becomes a new creature of love. She becomes a changed person because of Henry's address, not dissimilar from the voice of God, causing efficacious change to the Israelites in the Old Testament. Jane Austen knew theological symbolism, and she inserted it in her novel. And here, in the person of Catherine, we see this great symbolism at work as she is reborn and she embraces love. After this episode, she finds herself in conversation with Eleanor and Henry. Isabel's scheming has been revealed. Consolation for herself and her brother is not undertaken in lonely isolation, but in the presence of friends, in the presence of love. In fact, this final act of loving consolation is also face-to-face. Catherine has been reborn into the real world. She has left the sinful, dark world of the Gothic imagination and Gothic romanticism and has entered the world of embodied love, incarnate souls, face-to-face with Henry. While General Tilney suddenly returns when Henry is absent, excoriating Catherine and forcing her to leave alone, this does not break the bond sewn between Catherine and Henry. The two have been mystically united, and Henry, upon his return, seeks out Catherine, as all lovers do. Alone, Catherine is unhappy. Henry's sudden visit sparks her heart to beat again. Love is in the air, and happiness is nigh. Henry seeks to marry Catherine, and the love they eventually share breaks General Tilney's heart of stone. Love truly conquers all. General Tilney approves of their marriage. Love reformed Catherine and brought her to new life by bringing her out of the imaginary world of the Gothic fantasy she had constructed for herself. Love also bore down on General Tilney to see marriage as more than social and economic matchmaking, and in breaking General Tilney's heart of stone, and in the realization that marriage is more than social and economic matchmaking, we see Jane Austen's true romanticism, her realistic romanticism. Marriage should include the romantic heart, but it shouldn't be the romance of fantasy, as Catherine was embracing through her Gothic imagination, but the real reality of romantic hearts, of lovers, of souls, of face-to-face encounters, of a man and a woman, who in their love for each other will become faithful and dutiful companions for the rest of their life. True, the Morlands are not necessarily poor, but they aren't rich either. They belong to the emerging middle class. They do have some money, and that also manages to change General Tilney's mind when he realizes that they aren't as poor as he thought, but the tenacity of Henry's love for Catherine and Catherine's rebaptism through tears into the real world of the heart and of the soul, was manifested in Henry's brief renunciation of his father and his declaration of romantic love for Catherine. That's what really matters in life, the romance that binds man and woman together in love and in marriage. Once again, in the great mind and the writings of Jane Austen, love reforms a soul and ties together what is lost and separated, which is now united in the unbreakable bond of love.